स्वामिन्निति नामिनी। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिनी। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुश्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita every day, at least 6 days a week. And now we are in the 10th chapter. We finished 39 slokas. So it has got 42 slokas. So just 3 more slokas. We are going to finish the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There is the opulence of the absolute. So Krishna in this chapter is giving so much knowledge about himself, how he is expanded everywhere. In the 6th chapter, we studied Krishna told us that one who sees me everywhere, one who sees everything in me, they are actually in me. For them, I am not lost. For me, they are not lost. So that's what Krishna is saying. So that way, if we understand this 10th chapter, we are able to see Krishna everywhere. We are able to see everything in Krishna. We are able to see Krishna in everything. Yo mam pasyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pasyati. So that way, there is no limit for Krishna's opulence. It is Ananta, means no end. So there is no limit. But there is Supreme Personality of Godhead who is pervading this entire universe, but he directly came to this material world, this earth. In this universe, there are billions of galaxies and billions of solar systems in each galaxy. So billions of galaxies. So that way, compared to this, all these planets in this universe, if we just consider our earth, it is only a very, very tiny bit, very, very small. It's beyond our imagination. We can't even count. We can't even count. Like the grass. Can we count the number of grass? Or can we count anything? Can we count the number of atoms in this world? So like that way, the number of universe or the number of galaxies or the number of planets. So we cannot count them. That's why we say simply it's billions like that. And after some time, with some hi-fi telescope or something, they may even figure it out. They will come and say that there are trillions. So now they have said billions, it can be trillions. So basically it is beyond our imagination. That is the main thing. So in such a very, very vast universe, huge universe, which is beyond our conception, beyond our thinking, beyond our, it's inconceivable basically. Achintya. So achintya means it's inconceivable. So in that, this earth is just a very, very tiny speck. It's very, very small, very insignificant, this earth. So, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the master of all universe, all the planets, Sarvalokam. Sarvaloka means all the lokams, all the worlds. Sarvalokam, all the planets. And who is the controller? Who is the Maheswara? Iswara means controller. And who is the Maheswara? Who is the supreme controller? Who is the great controller? Supreme controller. The supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And he came to this earth just 5,000 years ago. He came here, even though there is nothing binding him to come here actually. Nothing binding him. But this earth is very special. And he came. And he did so many duties actually. He did so much of karma. Karma means it's duty. Action. Karma means action. So Krishna performed so many actions. And of course, nothing is binding or nothing is forcing him to do any of those actions. Our story is different. Our story is that we are forced to accept birth in this material world. There is no chance or choice. There is no choice for us. There is no choice. We have to take this material body, that's it. We are forced. But that is not the case with Krishna. Krishna, who is the controller of this vast universe, huge universe. Just now I explained, it's galaxies, millions, billions, trillions, billions of galaxies. So, he came to this earth and he did so many activities. He drove Arjuna's chariot. He was a charioteer for his friend, for his cousin, Arjuna. So, Krishna drove the chariot. So that way, Krishna is also ready to drive our chariot. Our life. Krishna is ready to lead our life. Krishna is waiting. Krishna is actually waiting to serve us. It is not that we only have to serve Krishna. Krishna also serves us. In fact, Krishna is serving us. That's why we are getting all these material resources. These are all serviced by Krishna. Krishna is serving us. Otherwise, how we will get it, all these things? So that way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, he came to this earth. And we are forced to accept birth in this material world, this material body, temporary body, which brings us all kinds of miseries. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, everything. It brings us Vyadi. Vyadi means disease. There's so many diseases. The doctors, when they go and study in the medical schools, they have to memorize so many diseases. So many. And understanding the body parts, how it works, all the structure of our body, anatomy or physiology or anything, when you want to go through it, there's so many names, so many things to understand. So many systems actually. That's what is physiology. So there are so many systems. They are all working. They are all doing their job. There is endocrine system. So the hormones, everything, they are secreting. And they are doing all their jobs very nicely. They are monitoring. They are balancing everything. The temperature, our body temperature is monitored. It's actually, it is homeostasis. What you call it as, it is balanced. Everything is within the limits. That's it. If it goes a little bit above or below, we are done. So our temperature keeps increasing, then all our proteins gets denatured. Our proteins won't work. Then all our body parts will fail. They won't work. Or if the pH of our body, if the pH of our blood, that has to be maintained within a very, very narrow range. Very, very narrow range. If it goes a little bit up, above or below, we are in big trouble. So, like that way, there is so many control mechanisms are there in our body. Feedback systems, control systems. They're all happening in our body, and we are in this material world. We are in this material body, and this material body is temporary, and this material body is miserable, and this material body gets disease. And also this material body becomes old. So we get old and we get diseased, and then we die. We leave. We are forced to leave from this body. But the problem is that we are forced to accept another body. So now Krishna came to this world. Krishna is there in this world all the time, but Krishna came directly. Krishna was, you could see Krishna. That is the main thing. 5,000 years ago, when Krishna was here, you could actually see Krishna with his eyes, with our eyes. You can actually speak to Krishna. Krishna was there. And Krishna spoke to us. Krishna gave this knowledge to us. To Arjuna, this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave this knowledge to us actually. What we are studying every day, what we are understanding this Bhagavad Gita, this song of God, that is Krishna's song. So Krishna gave this knowledge to us. Even though nothing is binding, nothing is forcing him to do anything, still Krishna is doing it. Krishna did it for our benefit. Because Krishna wants to serve us. Krishna wants to take us to his place. Krishna doesn't want us to suffer in this material way. But due to ignorance, due to ahankara, these two reasons. One is ignorance. That means ajnana. And another is asraddha. That is due to ahankara. So asraddha means not having faith. So not having faith on Krishna, it is because of our ahankara. So agnyascha. Agnyascha means ignorance. Not having the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Ahankara. That is asraddhadana. Not having faith. Agnyascha asraddhadanascha samsayatma vinasyati nayam lokosti naparo nasukam samsayatmanaga. So a doubtful person is destroyed. There is no world. Either in this world or in any other world, he won't be happy at all. There is no happiness for him. First of all, this material world is temporary. This material world is miserable. And if you don't have any faith on this Bhagavad Gita, if you don't have any faith on Krishna, if you don't have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then we are not going to be happy at all. No happiness. Nayam lokosti naparo nasukam samsayatmanaga. Not only in this world, in any other world, he won't be happy at all. There is no happiness. But we are soul, we are Atma, Sat, Chit, Ananda. So Sat, we are eternal. We are all the time, we are there. There was never a time when we did not exist. Nor in the future there will be a time where we will cease to exist. We are there all the time. So that way we are Sat. Sat means eternal. And Chit. Chit means we have the consciousness. That is, we can think. So the consciousness is the symptom of the soul in our body. So when we have consciousness, so that is because the soul is inside this body. When the soul is not there inside this body, or even when we are having it here, even if we have that consciousness, sometimes when we go to coma or such stages, we can't even express. We cannot even express. So that way the soul is not even able to express the consciousness. But that consciousness comes from the soul. That's what we need to understand. So that way, that Sat, Chit, and then Ananda. So Chit means you can also say that it is knowledge, full of knowledge. So that means we are not ignorant. So that way, if we have the consciousness, if we have the knowledge based on this Bhagavad Gita, if we are not ignorant, then we can be blissful. Ananda. Ananda will come happiness. Happiness comes from there. But if we don't have faith on Krishna, if we don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, if we are ignorant and if we are doubtful, so then we can't be happy. There is a problem. Then we cannot achieve happiness. There is no happiness. That is the main thing. So that way there is no need to envy someone who is really very rich or very great or very powerful or this or that. Everything is useless. No value. No value. That person won't be happy at all. We need to understand. In this material world, happiness cannot be, we cannot buy happiness. We cannot be happy just because we have a lot of material things. There is nothing to be proud about it. There is nothing. Even if I own this entire world, what is to be proud about it? Because we are going to lose everything. That is the main thing. Because nothing is going to be permanent with us. We are not going to own anything permanently. So that way, we can earn so much of money, we can buy a lot of things, and we can register a lot of assets and everything on our name. But it won't be permanently on our name. That is the main thing. When we die, it will be written on some other's name. But it is always owned by Krishna. Everything is owned by Krishna. So Krishna is the proprietor. Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna is the owner. So that's what we need to understand. So that's where Krishna is very, very important. We need to understand. We need to bring Krishna into picture. So Krishna is our supreme father. Pitaham asya jagato mata data pitamaha. So Krishna is the Pita, Krishna is the Mata, Krishna is the Data, Krishna is the Pitamaha. So everything is Krishna, and Krishna is the seed-giving father. That's what we studied in this sloka yesterday. So Krishna is the Bijam Tadaham Arjunam. Yachapi sarvabhutanam Bijam Tadaham Arjuna Nadatasti Vinayatsyan Mama tejam sa sambhavam maya bhutam characharam. That's what Krishna is saying there. So natadasti vinayatsam maya bhuta characharam. Both moving and non-moving and everything they, without me, they don't exist. That's what Krishna is saying, that natadasti vinayatsam. Without me, they don't exist. So everything is existing because Krishna is supplying. Krishna. Etat yonini bhutani sarvani iti upadaraya aham krishnasya jagattaga prabhavaga pralayagastada. So I am the prabhavaga and pralayaga. I am the source of creation and the source of annihilation. Everything. Everything is created and annihilated by Krishna. Sarvabhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye. Punahastani kalpadau srijami agam. So everything, sarvabhutani kauntaya, prakriti myanti mamikam, they enter into my nature when this kalpa ends. Then again I create everything. So this sarga, that is the creation, and then there is prabhava, and pralaya, so that is the annihilation. Sargopi nopajayante pralaye navyatanticha. So if we go to Krishna's well, then we will be very, very happy. There is only happiness. No need to worry about anything. There is no need to worry about. In this world, we have got so much of worries, so much of problems, so much of deadlines, so much of projects, so much of things we need to do, so many of these things every day. So every day, we need to do parallel tasking. We need to do a lot of work, a lot of things. And every year we need to show that we are doing a lot of work, a lot of things. And when we get old, then we will become useless. We can't do all such work. Our brain becomes, it can't handle more. Our learning is not that fast when we get old. So, and things keep changing in this material way. So, but if whatever we learned, we are not going to forget. That we need to understand. So whatever we are learning, that's going to stay in our memory. That's going to stay in our long-term memory, at least until we die in this world. So that way we need to learn this Bhagavad Gita and keep that in our long-term memory, so that we can remember Krishna all the time. So Krishna is the one who gives us the memory. So Sarvasya Chaham Kriti Sannivishto Mattaga Smritir Jnanam Apoganacha. Mattaga Smritir. So from him, from Krishna, Smritir, memory is coming, Jnanam is coming, knowledge is coming, and also forgetfulness is coming from Krishna. So that way, getting the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is very, very, very important for us. And remembering the slokas in Bhagavad Gita is very, 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 very important for us. And forgetting the material sense objects, it's also very, very, very important for us. So then by Krishna's mercy, we will be able to cross beyond the ocean of material miseries. Sarvam jnana plaveneva vrijinam samtarisyasi. So this is the opportunity Krishna is giving us. Krishna has given us. So he came to this well, and Krishna gave this knowledge. He came directly, and he gave this knowledge. And we can, of course, go to Krishna, and we can realize Krishna with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We can feel Krishna. We can perceive. Everything is possible with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, with our senses, we cannot perceive. We cannot see with our material eyes. We cannot hear with our material ears. Because these things are all made up of matter. Our ear is made up of matter, complete matter, everything. The way the sound is coming from outside and it goes through our ear, there is outer ear, in middle ear, and then inner ear. So it goes, and then a lot of conduction. So there is called by conduction mechanism. It goes in the ear. Then in the inner ear, it goes by sensory neural mechanism, by neurons. So by nerve. So all such things is just the messages getting transmitted. So the mechanical energy which comes, then it's getting converted into electrical energy. Then it goes to our brain. Our brain is sensing all those things. So how are we going to hear about Krishna? How are we going to see Krishna? Because Krishna is not made up of matter, and the soul is also not made up of matter. So how are we going to feel or experience the soul with our material senses? It is not possible. We need to understand. It's very clear. We need to understand. There is no way we can see the soul with our eyes. It is impossible. But we can feel, we can experience with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We can realize that we are not the body, we are the soul. So by repeatedly studying and understanding this Bhagavad Gita, we can see that we are not the body, we are the soul, and the soul is there inside this body, and the soul doesn't mix with the body. All such knowledge Krishna is giving us very clearly. Like the sky which is pervading everywhere, it doesn't mix with anything. So similarly, this soul which is pervading this entire body, it doesn't mix with the body. So like that, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, if we study, understand it fully, and we realize that we are not the body, we are the soul, and do everything, all our activities in Krishna consciousness, for Krishna. So then this limited time what we have in this material world, our human life, it's very, very limited. It just goes like this, that's it. So we are all getting old. There is no doubt about it. But we are very fortunate. We are very, very fortunate. We are extremely fortunate because we got this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. We got to know about Krishna, our Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. We are able to fall in love with Krishna with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that way, even though this material body is temporary, this material life is temporary, and this life in this material world is miserable, this is dukkhalayam asasvatam, but Krishna's mercy, we got this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, and we are able to feel Krishna, and we are able to love Krishna, and by remembering Krishna, by constantly serving Krishna, we will be able to actually give up this material world completely, and we will be able to go to Krishna as well. We will be able to elevate ourselves to the Brahma Bhuta platform. So all such things can be possible only with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because only Bhagavad Gita knowledge is there, then only we can realize that Krishna is everything. Otherwise, we won't know about Krishna. So now, in the 10th chapter, the next sloka number 40, Krishna is teaching us that Nantosti mama divyanam. So Krishna is teaching us that Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa ye satu de satah prokto. So Krishna is saying that ye satu de satah prokto vibhute vistaro maya. So nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa. So vibhuti, that is opulence. Na antosti, na anta means no end. That's what na anta. Anta means its end. Na anta means no end. Asti means it is there. So there is no end. There is no end for my divine opulence. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa. O conqueror of enemies. Parantapa. So Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Parantapa. O conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa. Yesathu uddesataha. Uddesataha means they are examples. Whatever I have listed to you, whatever I explained, gave to you, they are just mere examples of my unlimited opulence. Vibhute vistaro maya. So vistaro means it is unlimited. So vistaro maya. Vibhute vistaro maya. So that way Krishna is teaching us that there is no end for Krishna's opulence. We cannot, because we cannot even conceive. That is the main thing. It's beyond, it's inconceivable. It's beyond our thoughts. But when Krishna gives the knowledge here in Bhagavad Gita, we just directly take that knowledge as it is and just understand and follow each and every sloka as Krishna is teaching us. That's what we need. We really don't have to worry about anything else. If you just follow Krishna's footsteps, Krishna, the way Krishna is teaching us, the way Krishna is asking us to do, everything. If you just memorize this Bhagavad Gita, understand what Krishna says, and simply follow, simply spread this Krishna's message. Make that as our very important task in our life. That is teaching Bhagavad Gita, spreading Bhagavad Gita, and making many, many devotees. So then we don't have to worry about anything else. Because our life is already we will be very, very happy actually. By doing this, that's the reason every day we are studying Bhagavad Gita, every day all of us are joining at this time and we are spending hours. Because at this point of time, we are not thinking about anything else. We are not worrying about anything else. Because this is a time really, really very, very well spent in our life. Completely we are spiritualizing at this point of time. Even though this material mind is very difficult to control and senses are also very strong and impetuous, they forcibly carry away the mind. So everything is true. There is no doubt about it. But at least at this point of time, Krishna is making us to study Bhagavad Gita and understand this Bhagavad Gita and giving us an opportunity to spread this Bhagavad Gita and make many, many devotees. So that way, definitely our mind will become our best friend. Our mind will start focusing on Krishna only. So this is the way only we can control our mind. And Krishna is also guaranteeing that you just do this, I will make sure everything else will happen nicely. So I guarantee you. So anyone who gives this knowledge to my devotees, I guarantee their devotional service. Bhakti mayi param kritva. Bhakti mayi param kritva. And they will come to me. There is no doubt about it. Mam eva sasi asamse. So that way, just by studying Bhagavad Gita and giving this knowledge to other devotees, we are on the way to Krishna. There is no doubt about it. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished the 40th sloka in the 10th chapter. So we have just 2 more slokas to finish the 10th chapter. Hare Krishna. I'll stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.